apart from my professional golf career, which is non-existent, there are professional golfers in the world who are getting paid a lot of money. By I mean a lot of money, like more than their career earnings on the PGA Tour to quote-unquote jump ship to the Saudi Golf Tour or the LIV Golf Tour. We have the major headliner. We're going to talk about some other names that have come up that are going to have already been, I guess, headlining the first event in this golf tour. Don't know much about the event. I'm going to look it up here in a second and try to give you guys an update on it. But the big name is Dustin Johnson, major winner, pretty much the face of golf. He was number one player in the world for a long time. I think he lost it to John Rahm here last year, and now current number one is Scotty Scheffler. But he's, one of the top golfers in the entire world in terms of, money made, total wins. He's the face of TaylorMade golf other than Tiger Woods. Everybody knows who Dustin Johnson is if you know golf. Him jumping ship to the LIV Golf Tour is a big deal. I've seen some interviews here lately that's, people are talking about, the PGA Tour is making a big deal about, people picking sides. Like you're either with us or they're without us. When in all reality, a lot of these golfers just want the freedom to do whatever they want. Like they're like independent contractors. They should be able to go wherever they please and play wherever they please. And quite frankly, they do anyway. But the PGA Tour itself has monopolized pretty much all of professional golf. That's major high level. There's the Korn Ferry Tour. There's the Web.com Tour. Oh, that's the Korn Ferry Tour. But you have mini tours. You have the Champions Tour, then the European Tour. There's other tours that aren't really highly known that I don't really know. I know there's one in, I think there's an Asian Tour as well. So those things are happening in the PGA Tour, but now there's a competitor. And you're seeing a lot of high-touted names kind of moving their way over there. And the reason they're moving is that cash money. So here's a stat. I don't know which one of you two, I'm assuming this was Coop that found this stat. But
yes,
Dustin Johnson, shout out to Coop for the stat. His career PGA earnings is right at $74 million, which is very, very good. I think anybody would respect $74 million in career winnings on a PGA Tour. But the LIV Golf Tour is reportedly paying him $125 million to join. I'm assuming he's going to be the headliner. He's going to be the big dog. He's going to be the one that people are going to show up to watch play.
Yeah. So, and real quick on that, that's the low end. I've seen reports that say 150 also. So,
I can totally see that
there's
as well.
Some variability there, but insane amount of money.
And I guess the schedule of events, right now there's 8 scheduled events. There's 48 player field, which is way lower than what a PGA Tour would start with. I think the cut is like the top 50 in ties or top 60 in ties or something like that. And then last place for the first event. So you go there, you shoot 101, you win $120,000.
Yep.
That's a good day's of work, Frank.
Hey, holla at your boy. LIV, I'm in. So quick reaction. I know there's some other big names that we're going to talk about here in a minute that some of you may know or may not know. But if you're a golf fan, you're going to know who these guys are. But what do you think the ripple effect of Dustin Johnson making the jump to the LIV golf field?
Yeah, so I think now that we've heard it and we've seen it, everybody knows DJ just married Wayne Gretzky's daughter. I guarantee it. Wayne Gretzky told him, "Hey, buddy, your life as an athlete is going to be, relatively short. Go make your money." Wayne Gretzky was famously traded from the Edmonton Oilers to the Kings when everybody thought he was the untouchable one. So I guarantee it, he was in his ear telling him, "Go make your money while you can. Go make my daughter happy." So, and I think we'll have a tidal wave effect here. It's only 48 player events, so much smaller field. But I know Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and a bunch of those, the bigger names have been very against it. But, whenever the PGA is going to become watered down at some point, it's going to be very interesting to see how it works. Because I think what people miss is the four majors. That's what everybody tunes into in America.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't PGA events. You have the PGA Championship, but the other ones, they're just majors. Anybody can play them. You have to be invited or have an exemption or something like that. And so that's exactly what Dustin Johnson. So you're saying I can play 10 events, make 125 million, and just chill like 9 out of the 12 months out of the year. Like, so I think it's going to be huge. The next game that clearly is going to come is Phil Mickleson.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised it hasn't came out yet, but I would assume it's going to come out shortly.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm reading an article right now from Golf Digest, which is, the credible source for golf news. Back in February, it says that DJ released a pro PGA Tour statement. But here recently, honestly, his agent come out and said, he's been contemplating this for the last 2 years. He decided that it was in his best interest and his family's best interest to pursue it. He said he's never had an issue with the PGA Tour and is grateful for all that it's given him. But in the end, he felt the opportunity was too compelling to pass up. So, translation, I'm going to go get paid.
I got that bag, Mom.
I'm going to go get paid.
Yep.
That's what he said. And quite honestly, I don't know if there's more events being planned, but the first event is scheduled for this upcoming Thursday, which is it's being held in London. Some of the notable names: Sergio Garcia. Recently, he was in the news about. I think a couple weeks ago, he was arguing with a rules official about something, and a microphone picked him up saying, "I can't wait to leave this tour, so I don't have to deal with you guys anymore." Super upset. Richard Bland. Richard Bland is primarily a European Golf Tour player. Has played in a couple majors. Did lead a major in the last year for like 3 days until he lost toward the end. He's an older player. Some other notable names would be Ian Poulter, Martin Kaymer, Lee Westwood, who was in the running with Bryson DeChambeau a couple years ago in a major championship. Kevin Na just recently signed, and then Graham McDowell. Both those players toward the back end of their careers, so they're going to go try something new. It's mainly over there in some areas in which they're from, in Europe. So there's no surprises there. So a couple of people also, Asian Tour players. You got some more highly touted European Tour players who are still toward the end of their career, but, they're not really notable to people here in America, honestly. Who else we got?
Chase Koepka.
Chase Koepka is another one. Sort of hasn't done anything in the PGA Tour. Probably, honestly, with a guy like that, he's a guy that's on the verge of losing his card altogether. So it's not really surprising to see kids like that, or I shouldn't say kids, but guys like that make a transition to something different just to see if they get a fresh start and then just see what happens. He's one of the bigger. He's got a big name, but he's not a big player.
Yeah, I look at that as big bro being like, "Hey, go check it out.
Yeah,
tell me what it's about.
Hook a brother up." So some other international names. Oh, go ahead, Coop.
I think there's a lot to unpack here. I know we were going through names, but back on like what it kind of means. One, I don't think PGA can say no. It can't be a pick either or. NASCAR has a great blueprint for this. They have guys that race in the Truck Series on Fridays. They go to a dirt track race on Saturday, and they're in a NASCAR car on Sunday.
Yep. And
it works. If PGA Tour is not giving them a salary, I don't see how they can dictate where they play and when they play.
Yep.
If they're entering in individual events that are either merit or invitation based, and they're meeting those requirements, I think it's a mistake on the PGA's part to deny them.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I'm sorry. I think it'd be in their best interest to work with them. and don't let it be a
100%.
split thing. Like, have your guys go back and forth. Maybe they do stuff better than you do. Maybe they can learn things. Maybe the LIV can learn things from the PGA Tour. It could be sort of like a side tour. You could have specialty matches and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Secondly, I think the next 2 years are going to be critical to seeing what this means for major sports. And what I'm getting at there is money is what got the 13th ranked player in the world to commit to another league. And it's not saying he's done in the PGA. They haven't made a ruling, whatever that may be. If they do and it doesn't go in their favor, there's a flood, right? If a court says you can play in both, PGA is in trouble. But if it works and some league like the USFL can get enough money to bring over a Russell Wilson, that guy who was elite, is he still elite? We don't know. Can you imagine the publicity and the viewership that the USFL would have this year with Russell Wilson playing quarterback?
You already see that in the fan-controlled football. Like, if you have anything whatsoever, you see Terrell Owens and Johnny Manziel and all those guys playing whatever the crap that shit is, and people will love it.
Yeah, but I mean, Owens is 50 and Manziel got cut from the league. If you can get a current star,
that's what I'm saying. Like even
Liv's
those guys,
doing.
they're the name. I mean, people are watching it because of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting to me. I think there's a ton with this. Definitely going to watch it and see. The reaction to me is more exciting than what the actual play on the course is going to be.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I think the guaranteed money, that's the game changer because, nobody works for the PGA Tour. You earn the tour card. You're given the ability to play. Like, I'm pretty sure you still have to pay like fees and stuff to get into tournaments. So it's not like
some people do.
Yeah, I mean, you get the exemptions and stuff.
Yeah, sponsors people,
right?
But if you're low on the totem pole, you're footing a lot of the bill,
right? But the PGA Tour wasn't paying Dustin Johnson to show up every weekend. They would pay him if he won, but they weren't paying him to show up. And I think that's the most important thing here. Where maybe are we going to start seeing like do you guys watch the Tour de France? I mean, we get. Or
not.
F1. Are we going to start getting golf teams where owners own or put people under contract, and then you start seeing these golf teams form? So guys are getting salaries and guaranteed cash. I think this could spin off in so many different ways, and I think it's for the best.
Yeah,
competition breeds competition.
You're exactly right, and that's what's really good for just the sport in general, because everybody's like, oh, I want to make it to the tour, I'm going to be a PGA Tour golfer, but now there's other options. Although it's overseas, I don't know if the LIV has any plans to have tour events here in the United States, but even then, like,
if they land an event at Augusta, it's over.
That'll never happen. That'll never happen.
Why? If they're paying more money, why not let the same people play on the course under a different name?
It won't happen. There's a reason why other major championships
are more money than ever.
But Augusta is different.
Yeah, I'd say Augusta's probably the untouchable one. But I don't think they untouchable. They don't have tournaments other than the Masters, right?
No, that is the only major that stays at the same spot. Every other major, they rotate, like Torrey Pines, Bethpage Black, all those, like even the Open overseas in England. They play the old course. They play St. Andrews, which I think is the same thing, but they play at different courses for the majors. The Masters is played at one spot and one spot only. It doesn't move. That's why it's the big one. It's the special one. It's the one that everybody wants. Nobody's touching that one. Nobody. You might get the other courses. You ain't touching Augusta.
Yeah, I think Augusta's like the most prestigious golf course in America. But I do agree with Coop. If they get an American big course name, Bethpage Black or any of those US Open,
Torrey Pines,
like
Marion,
you're going to
see any one of Jack Nicklaus's courses,
right?
Like those, that's a big deal.
The Waste Management.
Oh yeah,
up in Detroit. No, I thought it was in Detroit.
No, Waste Management,
It's in
Phoenix,
Phoenix.
Open.
Yeah.
I said Scottsdale. It's a big golf town out there.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Scottsdale.
Yeah.
It's Phoenix. It's in Phoenix. But like when you're talking about the teams and stuff, you kind of have that a little bit with the club manufacturers. Like you have Team TaylorMade, you have Team Titleist. TaylorMade does a really good job, and I'm a TaylorMade fan. They do a really good job of highlighting their players like as a group all the time, like through YouTube and things like that. You know, Callaway does a pretty good job too. But like Titleist is just, you know, the logo, and it's you know, some of the best golf equipment you can buy. But like, if you were going to have like teams, then you're going to run into like sponsorship conflicts, and in golf, that's how they make their money. It's sponsors. That's why you have guys with polos with 37 different logos on them.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is if they make a team, then they don't have to rely on those sponsors.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I mean, it may not happen.
It's going to turn into a bidding war, and there's going to be a lot of money thrown around, I have a feeling.
And I mean, you're not talking about, you know, it's not going to be a Hardee's team out there wearing the golden star. You're talking about like Bezos, who's talking about getting into ownership in professional sports. And he's got an Apple logo on the polo shirts, and that's it. But that team's funded by Apple. Even though it's not a golf brand, I think you could definitely see that with the people that are integrating into sports now, with the money getting not more concentrated, but with how expensive sports is getting to operate.
Yeah.
And I also think on that same page, it'd be really cool to have golfing events, professional golfing events, other than the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup, in like a team setting, like doing team events, like match play, you know, alternate shot, scrambles, things like that. But with like this team versus this team, not like country versus country, but like kind of like what colleges do in college golf. Like they have a team event, they have individual events, all that good stuff. That would make it really cool to go watch or watch it on television. And that's something that I think if the LIV did well, not saying they have a plan to, but if they did well, that would help them out a lot. Because the Ryder Cup is one of the best things that golf has going for them.
Yeah.
But also, let's say some of these players that are going over there, they're Ryder Cup players. Do they still play in the Ryder Cup if they're not part of the PGA Tour?
Oh yeah, no, that's for your country.
But it's still PGA Tour based.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Google.
Look it up, Dave.
To me, I could be wrong. So if we're considering the PGA as a professional sports league, right?
Yes.
You compare it against the NHL, the NBA. Like they've said, those all have teams. Even NASCAR, they have teams. You're signed to contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You can't race a different car every week. So I don't know if it's the right term, but PGA is a club, right? You have a membership. You pay for a membership. They don't pay you, like they've said, unless you win. You don't have to go to all their events.
No, you're right.
You know, if you're a player for a sports team, you're on the injury report or you're playing. Otherwise, you're not on that team.
And you look at guys like Tiger, who obviously still has a PGA Tour card, but he's going to play majors, and that's about it.
Yeah. So I'm calling the PGA a club. It's not a league. It's not a professional sports league. It's a club.
I would agree with that.
All right. So Frank is right. But I guarantee it changes. So reading the Ryder Cup.
First time in 13 episodes.
It says all U.S. players will have the opportunity to earn points beginning in 2022 and concluding immediately after the second FedEx Cup playoff event, BMW Championship on August 20th of 23. The top 6 players on the points list secure spots on the U.S. team. So mark this date, June 5th, 2022. Does the Ryder Cup change their criteria for how
they would have
pick
to
their top players?
Because if you don't play in PGA sponsored events, you don't rack up FedEx Cup points. Like Scotty Scheffler, he's leading by I think 1,200 points right now. He's
what makes you qualify for a country? Is it like Olympics? Do you have to be nationally born? If not, and the Saudis are funding all this, I'm just saying Saudi Arabia could have a hell
The thing about the Ryder Cup,
of a Ryder Cup team.
It's USA versus
England.
That's it, just straight up one-on-one.
It's not just England. It's Europe in general.
Yeah, Europe.
So you guys, you got a bunch of countries over there. You have Ireland, like Rory from Northern Ireland, bunch of British guys. You got Sergio from Spain.
That's pretty.
They're everywhere over there.
Stuck up of us.
Oh,
to think we can compete with all of Europe.
Yeah.
Hey, but we won. We won last year. Shout out.
The captain gets 6 picks as well, though. Yeah,
Zach Johnson is the captain this year.
Yeah,
Shout out Zach Johnson.
I saw Johnson being the captain. I was like, oh shit, is DJ the captain?
Wouldn't that be some stuff? That'd be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, things are getting interesting in the world of golf, and I love golf. It's one of my favorite sports to watch and obviously play. But moving forward, like, it's going to be kind of funny, or not funny, but it's going to be kind of fun to watch it all unfold and see like the social media reactions. I'm sure next week will be pretty interesting. So I'm going to look forward to it. Yeah. And we'll have an update. We will have an update because, next Sunday, that event will be over. We'll see who takes the crown. Is it somebody that's got a big name, or is it one of these young nobodies that, still wants to have part of it? But really quickly, I don't think, do we cover like Louis Oosthuizen, big name, Charles Schwartzel, big name, Brandon Grace, big name. And then we have also Taylor Gooch and Hudson Swafford. Those are not big names yet, but they're in their prime currently in the PGA Tour. Taylor Gooch is a very talented golfer. Just some other names to look forward to maybe watch next week.